Hi, and thanks for joining. It's Patty from PS Paper Crafts, and I wanted to show you today how to use the Meadow Dies to make this pretty birthday card. It's a bouquet of flowers, kind of wildflowers maybe, and the Quiet Meadow bundle to stamp set and dies. And it's funny because they really are independent of each other. If you buy them as a bundle, you save the 10%, but you really could use this on its own and this on its own. There's nothing that cuts out any of these except for the die for the labels for your sentiments. Other than that, they really stand on their own. So I made a card yesterday. It's on yesterday's blog, and it's a thinking of you, and I used this stamp and the thinking of you, and then I cut it out with this die. So that's the card for the stamp set, but this I did all my die cuts and then I colored them. So I have everything cut out already. I'm using the new Evening Evergreen as the background, and then this, and then the ribbon. And I cut all my pieces out and I'm going to color them. So I cut, let me just show you. So I cut this piece. This is this one. And I used 2 of these because I did this also on the inside. And that's these 2. And I kind of cut them all together, although I had to do that one separate. And then I have this one for this piece. And I did 2 of these out of the Evening Evergreen. So that's these. So there's a couple more pieces. There's butterflies. I use this die. I use this little piece here to cut the center. So we'll do all our coloring. I wanted to just show you an alternative way of using these, and instead of coloring you can do paper piecing. So let me just put these aside. So just as an example, I did this one, and I cut it with Pear Pizzazz, and then I used Highland Heather, and I just really put the die through at the top a scrap. I didn't do the whole thing. And then you can just glue it down and you would have this pretty kind of richer color. And I thought this would work good for most of them, but like these might be a little hard because you really have to cut out the flowers. I think this one would be easy, picking up all these different pieces, because you really would just have to use this one and this one. So it's your choice. I wanted to color, so I'm coloring mine. I love to color. So if you wanted to just do the paper piecing, that's another way of doing it. So let's get started. Let me just pull out a piece of scrap paper and we'll get all our coloring done. I am using blends, and I use different greens for the stems. So I used Granny Apple Green and Soft Succulent and Old Olive for the stems and the leaves. So let's do one at a time. We'll start with the orange one. I'll do some Old Olive, and this is a light Old Olive, and I'm just going to color this, and I'll speed it up. Just color the stem and the leaves. Okay, and then I used the dark pale papaya. This is another new color, and I did the top. So I think that's really pretty. I look like I missed a spot right here. And if you have a little bit of white, I think it's okay. If you have darker shades, just make it look natural. And then this one, I used the Soft Succulent, and then I did the flower top with dark So Saffron. So this is the light Soft Succulent. Okay, and then I did this little centerpiece. Let me pull this out with soft suede. So this is light soft suede, and it will go right in the center of the flower. You can also cut a piece of cardstock, soft suede, or whatever color you want, And that will go there. And then we'll color these two. And I'm using Granny Apple Green and the Fresh Freesia. So some of these colors are new. So the Pale Papaya, the Fresh Freesia, I can't say it, and Soft Succulent, and the Early Evergreen or Evening Evergreen are all new in colors, and they're really beautiful. So let's get this going. I don't know if you see, I made a little bit of a, got in there. I'm going to just get my color lifter and see if I can remove that. So I have this is the color lifter, and it actually helps you if you wanted to highlight, you know, take color away, like if you were coloring a balloon, but it also lets you get rid of mistakes. It's kind of like an eraser. Okay. And then we'll do our Fresh Freesia, and this is the light one. I wanted to make these nice and soft looking, and I think if you did the paper piecing, you can get more vibrant, or you could use darker colors to color it. Both looks, I think, are nice. Okay, so all of our coloring is done. They look good. And we can put this away. Let's get our sentiments stamped. So the sentiments in this stamp set, thinking of you, you're too kind. They're really nice. I wanted birthday cards. So I love this happy birthday from Sweet as a Peach. So my happy birthday, and then I have It's Your Day, Let's Celebrate You from this stamp set. You can use whatever you want as long as it fits in this if you wanted to use this label. But I love the script in this one. So I'm going to stamp this in the Evening Evergreen, and it's photopolymer. So I was able to cut this out, and I can stamp it without worrying about getting it crooked. I should have said that after I stamped it, right? Otherwise, I like to stamp it and then cut it out, because then you can get it straight on the cut. Okay, and let's do our inside. Now the inside is two separate stamps. So I just lined them up, and then I tested them out on a piece of scrap to make sure they were centered and straight and all of that. You can do them as two separate stamps, but I just found this to be easier. So let's get this lined up. And then instead of stamping a flower, I'll just glue one of these flowers in there. So let's get our pieces all put together. So first what I did was I kind of laid them out to figure out where I wanted the green in the back. Now one thing I could have done, which would have been a good idea, is to put one of the adhesive sheets. So before I cut it, if I stuck it on the adhesive sheet, then you're making a sticker and you could just peel off the back. But I'm going to go with this. I'm going to use my liquid glue and just really, let me get this. I had a class yesterday with the Red Hat ladies. So they were using a lot of glue, and I'm hoping this is okay. I think the top was just a little clog there, but it just pull it off and it works out good. Yeah, it was fun. It was a friend of mine, Jean, who invited me, and some of the ladies had never stamped before, and I think they were amazed at how easy it is. I mean, you don't really have to be creative, because whoever made the stamps did that creative part for you. So it makes it nice, but we had a good time. Oops, I love to see new stampers. The first time they put their inked up stamp on paper and they see that they made something beautiful, to me is amazing, because I remember my first time. It was really very cool. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. Now, you can pop them up. I did not want to pop them up because I popped up, I think there's enough bulk with all these different pieces laying on top of each other. And then I did pop up the sentiment, and you've got the ribbon. Sometimes it's good to have things flat. So I'm just kind of laying them out where I think they would go. Each one will probably be a little different. You kind of have to really press it down because it's going on top of that other one. And then I'll do this one and just put little dots. Doesn't need a lot. It's good to get the edges. And this again is where the adhesive strip would come in handy. I always forget to use that. It's such a great little tool to have. And all you do is it's double stick adhesive. You know, it sticks on both sides, and both sides have a sheet, a protector sheet, that you just remove. You remove it and you put it on your cardstock, and then you cut it out, and then you remove the other side. My phone is telling me to breathe. My kids got me this iPhone, and it tells me to breathe throughout the day, which I guess is a good thing. Sometimes it scares me when it does something I'm not expecting. So let's just put this right here. And then we'll put glue down here. I wanted this to be kind of the front and center flower, so that's why I'm putting it on last. Yeah, I was telling my friends, they'll probably laugh when they see this. When I have my GPS on and I'm driving somewhere, all of a sudden my phone becomes a blinker. And the first time it did it, it really scared me. It just will click on and off when I'm ready to, when I'm approaching the turn that I need to make. So these things scare me until I get it down. I did get a little glue here. I don't know if you guys have a gum eraser, but that is such a good thing to just get glue off. It looks like a mess, and it looks like it's making it worse, and then it all looks okay. Okay. You know me, I always have glue on everything. So then what I did was I fed my ribbon, and this is the Evening Evergreen ribbon. And I think it's so pretty, it's so rich. And I just fed it through behind the label. And I'm folding it in half just to feed it through that bigger hole on the side. Okay, and you just want to adjust it, make sure it lays as flat as it can. I mean, it's not going to lay perfectly flat. And you want to have enough to wrap around the back, and I'll just cut it. And before I adhere it, I'm going to get my, on top of the ribbon in the back, I'm going to put dimensionals down. And I'm going to put pieces on the ribbon because I want to hold the ribbon in place, but I also want it to be on the sentiment. So I'm kind of going up and down so I have it on both pieces. And this will hold the ribbon in place as well as the sentiment. So see that I have it on the ribbon and on the sentiment, and we'll just take off the backs. And then I want to line this up where I want it. And my bouquet is a little to the left, but that's okay. And then on the back, we want to put some Scotch tape. So we'll just get a couple of pieces of Scotch tape and put one down in the back. All right. And then we can put this down on our card base. So I'll just use my Stampin' Seal and put one top, bottom, and middle. It is a little bumpy because we've got that bulk in the front, but that's okay. And we'll just lay this here. And then I tied a bow with the ribbon. So let's see how good I do on camera here. I have the bow tying tool, but I think I like to make it by hand better. Maybe I'm not doing it right. I use it sometimes. It depends on the ribbon, I think, how well I like it. And I just fuss with it until I get it the size I want. And then we cut the tails. And I like to do this because I just can't eyeball this. For some reason, my tails never come out right. It's a little bit long, so let's do a little bit off on each side. This is where I go crazy. And then I have short tails because I went on and on and on with trimming them up. So I'm going to just take a glue dot and put it back here and put it right here. Isn't that pretty? It's so rich. And then on this one, I'm just going to get my scissors here. I'm just going to cut this down. I don't want the leaf. And I'll adhere it right to here. And on this one, I went off a little bit. So I just cut the side because I didn't want it to crash in here. But I'm going to try to get this one right inside. And before I do that, actually, I just took my soft suede blend, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little, you can see a little circle in the center, and that's where I'll put the pearls on in the front. But in this one, I didn't want the bumpy pearls, so I'm just kind of dotting it to give it a center, because I think it needs a center. I think it gets lost if it doesn't have it. So let's put this on. A little bit of glue. And I just like to dot it. It doesn't take much. And then we'll put this right here. Try to get it on the card completely so I don't have to trim it off. Okay, and then we can put this in, and then we'll put some pearls on the front, and I think we're good to go. I've got quite a mess here, don't I? Just get it all lined up. And then I'll take some pearls and my tool, and I'm just going to put these tiny, tiny ones right in the center here. I actually have that one covered a little bit, but we'll try to get one underneath that leaf. Again, every card is a little bit different. I think I covered both of them. So I'm using the paddle side of this. I don't usually use this, but the ladies yesterday were using it. You can turn it and make a point or a paddle. And I think this is good for the jewels. I go back and forth. So these are the cards. I love this set. I love the stamp set. I love the dies. It's really wonderful. It's so pretty, right up my alley with the flowers. I hope you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and I'll talk to you again. Bye.